Hi everyone, we are live. Welcome to the September edition of Illuminate. So good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Illuminate. This is a virtual town hall hosted by Mina Foundation every month. And if this is your first town hall, I'm Becky, Ecosystem Comms Manager on the marketing team, and I'll be your host for today's session. It's been another busy month for the ecosystem, and we're coming to you with a bunch of new updates this month. So we're covering different work streams at the foundation, such as engineering, product, and protocol governance, as well as some ecosystem spotlights, which this month feature guests from Lumina and Geometry. So welcome. We use these to share the high-level updates, engage in open discussions, and also provide a space for collaboration. So feel free to participate in discussion throughout the town hall. You can use the chat on YouTube. And if you're watching this as a recording, you can join us in Discord and continue the conversation there. I'll drop a link to the server afterwards. So without further ado, let's dive into today's agenda. We'll begin with a roundup of Mina over the past month before we head over to some updates on the Rust node from Jan. We'll follow this with an update on core grants from Philip and Emmanuel, an update on community programs from Yasin. Ben will talk us through some of the updates from Mina Foundation's protocol governance team, and Joaquin will share more about a recently published MIP and Mina improvement proposal for anyone who is new here. And then to wrap things up, we'll dive into the guest spotlights I mentioned earlier. We hope this gives you some insight into the work of what's happening behind the scenes. And if you have something you'd like to hear more about, let us know in the chat and we'll try to include it in future editions of Illuminate. So let's kick things off. So last month in Mina. Let's take a look at where Mina's been in the world this month. So in case you missed it, the Mina APAC team has been super busy attending and participating in events across the region, which concluded at the end of September, at least for now. So among the huge list of events they joined are Korea Blockchain Week, WebEx, Pragma, ETH Singapore, and a bunch of other events. We'll dive deeper into some of these later in the town hall, but if you're planning to attend any other events this year, let us know which ones in the chat. We love to see Mina represented across the world. A new series of videos was also launched on the Mina Protocol YouTube channel this month called Kimchi Bites. The first episode unpacks Mina's origin story and looks ahead to the future with Evan, but with a spicy twist. So you'll have to watch that to understand. I'll drop a link in the chat in a second and you can take a look at that in your own time. ETH Online also wrapped up in September with more than 20 teams participating in Mina tracks. More on that later. And then finally, Align Bridge will bring Mina proofs to Ethereum. So I'll drop a link to that blog post in the chat as well shortly. These are just some of the wins from this month, and I'm sure there are many, many more. So let us know in the chat if we've missed any and what your Mina highlight of the month is. You can find more information about all of these and keep up to date on the latest on our social channels, which you can find in the chat as well after this. I'll hand it over now to Jan, who's going to give us an update on the Rust node. Jan, let me bring you up to the stage. Hello.
Hello, everyone. So we're pleased to announce the 0.9.0 version of the Rust node for Mina, which will be released later today. For this release, we focused on multiple stability improvements and bug fixes, along with some optimizations for the Mina Rust node. We will soon follow up with another release that will add support for the GraphQL endpoints that are required to send payments and zk-app transactions. And as for the next 0.10.0 release, we plan on improving the Rust node stability and performance, plus developing support for archive nodes. So that will be all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Jan. So next up, we have an update from Philip, who is going to give us some news on core grants. Hey, Philip.
Hey, thanks. So core grants is our program for addressing infrastructure needs and public goods projects, all the way from ideation and initial discussion up to delivery. The way that it works is that anybody, either people from Mina Foundation or from the community, can write an RFC if they want to see some new feature implemented. And then the ideal outcome is that after some discussion on that, Mina Foundation puts out the request for proposals, an RFP, and then people can apply and somebody will be selected to implement and deliver whatever feature or part of infrastructure we want to have added to the system. We might also take some shortcuts sometimes if it's clear that there is like some previous work and we want to just add on that, then we can skip part of those parts of these processes. In particular, one of the items that is in the planning stage and will begin the implementation soon is a standard for non-fungible tokens. So we have recently added the fungible token standard on Mina. And the idea for this is to use an existing project, Mina NFT, and turn it into a standard that can be used by anybody to create NFTs on Mina. Next slide, please. There's also several projects currently in the implementation phase. We have ZK Security working on a standard for private credentials. Previously, we called this the attestation API. This is about how to create, store, handle, and share proofs between wallets and ZK apps. And yeah, the implementation is in progress for that one. Similarly, ZK Passport is quite a useful feature. It's meant to let you create proofs from just scanning your passport via an NFC chip in your smartphone, and then using that proof for ZK apps on Mina. Another project is the tokenomics study. We've already talked about that in the last update. This is about looking at potential changes to the tokenomics of Mina, so like the rewards, block rewards, monetary expansion rate, these kind of things. We will have a dedicated community call on this on the coming Monday. So if you want to get the latest news on that, then please join that call. Economics Design will share their first set of recommendations to the community then, and then we'll get some feedback from the community. And once we're done with that, they will continue their research in that area that takes into account the feedback from the community. So upcoming Monday, please join that call. The wallet provider API, that's another standard for interactions between wallets and ZK apps. And that has been granted to the Palette team. Next slide, please. Yeah, and then we have an item of work in review at the moment, which is the integration of Celestia on Mina, so that we can verify Celestia proofs on Mina, which will be quite useful for having an option for data availability. If you want to get involved in this, if you have any ideas for an RFC, or if you want to do some implementation work and want to look for the latest RFPs, then join our Discord. We have a dedicated core channel for this, and also we have a GitHub repository for the core grants program where all the RFCs and RFPs are posted. Thanks.
Thank you, Philip. I've just dropped a link to RSVP to the call that will be held next Monday with Economics Design, so you can RSVP there. And I'm going to bring Emmanuel up now as well, who has one other update on core grants. Thank you, Philip. Hey, Emmanuel.
Hey, how's it going? So I wanted to update about the ZKML core grant. So during our last call, I was speaking about the benchmarking, and that was the initial stage of this project. However, we moved on to the next stage. So during our next stage, we're essentially building a library that can convert LLMs to ZK apps in ONJS. So how we're planning to do this is by converting LLMs to an Onyx representation. And then we're going to write this SDK that can convert the Onyx opcodes to opcode representations as ONJS circuits. Then what you will have essentially is a LLM represented as a ZK circuit, which you can give some input and generate a proof of execution. Yeah, so this is the next stage, and hopefully we'll put this SDK out to the public so everyone can help develop it and use it. Thanks.
Thanks, Emmanuel. If you want to learn more updates from core grants in between the town halls, you can join our core grants community call, which happens in Discord every month as well. So keep an eye on Discord for updates there. Next up, we have Yasin, who's going to give us an update on navigators. And you may be used to Haresh, but he's not here this month. So we have Yasin.
Hello, everyone. Here is Yasin from the ecosystem team, and I will provide a brief update on GrowthTrack and what happened recently. We got 3 new proposals got funded, which are Zero Poll, a private voting system powered by ZKPs on ProtoKit. And then we have a formalization and TypeScript API for P2P state channels on Mina. And then we have a continued development proposal from Tileville, and it gets funded as well. And the recent weeks we got rejected 5 proposals, and there are still 9 proposals in the review process. And when we have a look at the big picture, we have 9 proposals, which is impressive, out of 57 submissions overall. And we are also working on a structure where you will see detailed progress updates in different community calls. So we will provide you the next steps soon. But for now, you can go check Mina research for the growth proposals. Yeah, thanks all.
Thanks, Yasin. I've just shared a link to where you can find the growth proposals for navigators as well, so you can take a read there. We also have a quick update on the starter track. So 28 builders have been invited to participate since this launched. 11 builders have completed the track, with 8 of those transitioning to the growth track. 1 participant has successfully moved to the growth track, and 7 are currently building, with 6 in the ideation phase. Only 3 have dropped out of the program, so this is some great stats on the Navigator starter track as well. We're going to move over now to the next section, which is Christina, who's going to give an update on the developer leaderboard initiative that kicked off in July. Christina, let me bring you up to the stage. Hey, Christina.
Hey, everyone. Christina here. I'll bring you the updates on the leaderboard, but first I want to remember what the program is. This program recognizes and rewards developers that are contributing or who contributed to the Mina ecosystem. It offers the opportunity to win 500 Mina per month by generating consistent GitHub contributions. For September snapshot, we had 6 winners, and we hope to see more people joining the October snapshot. A quick message is that the leaderboard tool, the tool that help us to calculate the winners or the people joining the leaderboard, it's open for improvements. So I invite you to give me or send me any DM with improvement ideas. And if you want to participate in the program, you can get in touch with me as well, and I will send you all the details or the guidelines for the program. And next slide, please. Here are the winners. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for participating in the program and for sharing me all the improvements that we have been doing, and hope to see you in the next snapshot. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. So if you'd like to get involved, reach out to Christina in Discord. That's the Mina Protocol Discord server. We'll drop more information in the chat as well. This next update is a long one, so get comfortable. We're going to give you a recap of some of the events that we've attended in September. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of this call, over the past few months, the APAC team has been non-stop traveling across Asia to amplify the message about Mina and engage with the community. So from Hanoi to Shenzhen to Tokyo, Seoul and Singapore, they've really done the rounds. They haven't stopped. You'll be able to read more on our social channels and get a much more in-depth recap. I'll give you a quick recap of what September looked like. So we had Evan join a panel on harnessing the power of ZK at WebEx Tokyo. The team hosted a KBW Mina developer workshop at Nantes in Seoul with guests from O1 Labs, Zeco, and more. There were multiple interviews held at Korea Blockchain Week and a talk from Philip Helsel on real-world assets. ZK Connect in Seoul was a success with talks from various projects building an ecosystem, as well as talks from Mina Foundation team members. The team also hosted a ZK Connect event in Singapore, which provided a space for devs to hang out, connect, collaborate. While in Singapore, Evan participated in a panel at Epoch Singapore alongside the heads of Wellcoin and Scroll, and also gave a panel talk at Pragma. And then finally at ETH Singapore, there were 6 prize winners across the Mina tracks. So these were Stealth Trade DAO, ZK Credit, Mina Dark Pool for the Mina apps using ProtoKit track. And then for the ZK Gaming app track, we had Battle of Nouns, ZK Blackjack, and Power Clash. So thanks to ZK Node for their support, and then shout out to everyone who participated in Singapore. ETH Online, which kicked off in August and then concluded in September, had 7 winners across the Mina track. So these included Limit the Swap, BeatX, Circuits DAO, and Mutuum in the ProtoKit app category, and then Pirates, 2048 ZK Noid, and Guess ZK Who in the ZK gaming track supported by ZK Noid. So as you can see, it's been a really busy month for the Mina ecosystem, with new devs joining, more projects building, and we're excited to see what comes next. So as we head into the fourth and final quarter of the year, the team is planning to wrap up the year with a couple more events. So we'll be at SmartCon in October. We'll also be at DevCon and ETH Bangkok in November. So let us know if you'll be there and what other events you're planning to attend this year. Keep an eye out on socials because we'll share more information on these in the coming weeks. And then finally, how can I forget MinaCon? So if you didn't see the announcement last week, MinaCon is a 3-day unconference in Istanbul that will bring together some of the brightest minds from the Mina ecosystem to unblock challenges and chart the way forward for a post-ZK world. There's no formal agenda. Participants will create and attend sessions based on their interests and objectives. And Vaboda, who will be facilitating the event, has drafted up a blog post with more information on what the event will look like. So I'll drop a link in the channel for you to read more. You can also read some information about some of the attendees as well. So keep an eye out on social for more information on that. And I've just dropped a link in the channel to the blog post on MinaCon. Next up, we have Ben, who this week shared the third in a series of research posts focused on harnessing the power of collective intelligence. We hosted a Q&A session last week, but for anyone who didn't join or hasn't had the chance to read yet, Ben, I think you can probably give us some good insights. I'm going to bring you up to the stage. Hey, Ben.
Hey, yeah. Okay, yeah, so thanks, Becky, for introducing that. We've shared so far 3 research blog posts as part of this series about collective intelligence. So how to organize at scale large groups of people that can make decisions more effectively than individual people alone, and looking at these concepts and unpacking them to see what could be applicable to Mina. So some very, very high level highlights, just explaining the third blog post that got shared last week, which was exploring processes and values and principles behind more direct, creating ways, structured ways for people to be more directly active and participating in decision making. So one principle that blog post discuss is this idea of sortition, which is a civic lottery that randomly selects people who can be representative in decision making. So this is very similar to a jury service. And the blog post then explains how that's used in a process called a citizens' assembly, where there are lots of experimentation in recent years around the globe and national and local levels about how small groups can deliberate, learn about a problem, and then advise decision makers about what they should do. And then the blog post explains how this philosophy was behind ZK Ignite. And it also then explains how it might be applied to other Mina decision-making processes. And I think in some of the ideas about changes to, for example, the MIP process, I think there'll be some kind of inspiration from these kinds of processes. And finally, the blog post provides a couple of examples of some projects already being proposed in the Mina community, such as Social Cap and Bemocracy, which are based on a similar kind of philosophy. So please take a look at the blog post and feel free to reach out to me directly or contribute to the governance discussion groups on Discord. It'd be great to get your feedback. The next series of blog posts, we're planning to look at some juicy themes about trust, reputation, and contributions. So if people have suggestions of interesting examples of reputation systems and ways to recognize expertise and other kinds of contributions in other projects that would be worth exploring, then please do highlight them to us. And as we look to our research beyond this, even at the start of next year, if there are particular themes you think it's worth us doing some deep dives in, then please let us know. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. I'm looking forward to hearing more about reputation and trust over the coming months, so I'll keep an eye out there. As Ben said, if you want to learn more or you want to get involved, join the Discord server. There's a specific governance segment in there where you can speak with the team and keep up to date on everything that's happening there. Next up, we have Joaquin, who published his first MIP last week, Mina Improvement Proposal for anyone new here. This MIP proposes changes to the MIP process itself. So I'm going to bring Joaquin up to explain a little bit more about that. Hey, Joaquin.
Hello. Hi, thank you, Becky. Yes, I work as a governance analyst at Mina Foundation, and I recently published this Mina Improvement Proposal. And this is to upgrade the MIP process with the objective to realize a future powered by participants. We have introduced or proposed some few changes initially for the MIP process. The first one is to increase the scope of the decisions that we can make through this process, not only to change to make changes in the core protocol, but also to make decisions about Mina economics and its decision-making processes and governance. We are also proposing to introduce some new roles in the process, mainly the MIP facilitators and MIP reviewers. And we are introducing in the process some mass deliberation tools and some open debates to make deliberation more engaging so that community members have more information and more agency in the decision-making process. And finally, we have proposed some guidelines for the implementation phase to give some structure to this part of the process. So these are the main key points of this proposal, but you can read more in Mina research, and the draft is already available there. And I encourage everyone in the community to give it a read. If you don't have the time to read, I also published a short video explaining the differences or the changes in the process. And that way you can also use the link available in Mina Research to give us feedback. We have created a survey in Discord, which is very easy to use. So we can incorporate your feedback into the draft. And next week, we are going to have a chat, a community call to discuss this proposal and get into the details. So I hope you can join us next week, and happy to chat. Feel free to reach out anytime in Discord or in any social media. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joaquin. You can find the link to the community call, which will take place next week in the chat as well. I've just dropped that in there. And I've also added in the MIP from Joaquin, so you can find both of those there. We're going to head into our final segment of the call now, which is ecosystem spotlights. And first up this month, we have geometry, and we're going to bring up Andrea. Hello, Andrea. Nice to have you here.
Hey, guys. Nice to meet you all. I'm Andrea, working at Geometry Research, together with some very amazing people. And we are the company that builds different crypto libraries, especially in ZK, and also doing some research in the area. So a few months ago, we wrapped this product that is integration between Mina and Celestia. So the idea was to enable data availability on Mina. So the project basically was to take the SP1 proofs, which is an amazing tool that gives you the proofs from Celestia about blob streams, and to verify them on Mina. So I'm not gonna go into details here. You can ping us or whatever if you're interested more. Code is open sourced, but we had to write this very fast for Plonk and Grot over BN 254 curve, and we implemented one of our recent papers, which made this way faster than we expected at the beginning of the project. And together we also have the module that allows you to easily split very long computation in different trees and graphs on top of Mina, which helps, I think, a lot when people are trying to like do any like recursive circuits, recursive splits, etc. So yeah, feel free to ping us. The code is open source, and we cannot wait to see what the community can build with this project. So yeah.
Thanks, Andrea. Thanks for joining. I hear that you're also on a X Space with ZKV tomorrow to explain how this work can be applied to ZK apps. So I will drop a link to that in the chat as well. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. Bye.
Next up, we have an update from Eddie at Lumina. Hey, Eddie, it's nice to have you here.
Hello. Vicky. So I'm a senior protocol engineer for Lumina DEX. Currently, we have a working solution for beta testing. We will ship it this month, probably. So you can create pair from Mina and fungible token, get the full workflow. You can create a pool, add liquidity, swap, remove liquidity. There is the liquidity provider and front-end provider. So the next step is to ship the beta testing. They will work on Mina L1 and Zelco L2 on DevNet. And create an SDK so anyone can use this on front end. So we have a real decentralization in this case, and audit and maintenance launch from the end of the year probably. Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie, for the update. If you'd like to find out more information, you can follow Lumina on social. And thank you for your update. That's all of the updates we have for this month. But if there's something that you'd like to hear from us next month, please let us know in the chat or in Discord. And everything that we've discussed throughout the call, you can find the links in this chat, and we'll follow up with all of them afterwards as well. It was great to have everyone here, and we hope you enjoyed this edition of Illuminate. We will see you next month. See you soon. Thanks, everyone.